The subject money is, well, it's everything. It's what makes or breaks a relationship. It's what we spend most of our adult waking hours, aside from sex, thinking about. Well, I live in a bus. I spend my entire life just exploring, wandering around, and not really working. So the question becomes, it's a cheaper way of life, right? You know, honestly, I don't know. I've been just kind of winging this as life goes on. I mean, I don't know if I'm living a financially viable, responsible adult lifestyle or not. So why don't you and I together try to figure out what it really costs to be a wandering pirate? Hi, I'm Rick, and welcome back to The Journey. And yep, I live in a 30-foot school bus, one that used to carry screaming kids, and now it just carries two terrified adults. Now, I will admit, it is a very, very different way of living, and many people assume it's a rent-free, quasi-hobo, semi-homeless kind of existence. It costs money. It actually costs quite a bit of money. I mean, diesel does not grow on trees. But see, the simple fact is, we really do have normal expenses, just like you. We do pay for rent, and we do pay for utilities, and we do pay for, well, everything. The only difference is, ours are a little more unusual than the standard budget that you have in suburbia. A lot of that has to do with the fact that we're not in suburbia. We live in places like this. More later. And so today, I am going to be completely 100% honest with you. We are going to peek behind the curtain and see exactly what it costs to live in a bus down by the river. You know, if somebody had said those words to me when I was younger, it would have been a horrible thing, and now it's something everybody wants to do. But I digress. And by the way, there's two actual endings to this video. It was a little surprising to me too. Well, we'll get to it. Budgets ain't exactly budget. There is a much cheaper way. Okay, let's start with a baseline. What am I sitting on? Apparently, these things belong in my butt. And here's another thing. I told myself not to sit on these things. I'll remember not to sit on those, but oh no. No. Rick's ADD. Yeah, I know. I sound like an angry old man, but I'm actually just angry at myself. I'm not angry at the world, usually. I guess a good place to start is with a baseline. Now, when we lived in Miami and had a normal life, well, as normal of a normal life as you can have in Miami, this is what it cost us. Now, by the way, this is non-discretionary spending. I mean, your idea of food, booze, and entertainment may not be the same as mine. So this entire video is about the things that, well, we don't have any control over. And yeah, this is what it cost in Miami. Okay, here's the funny part. This thing actually used to have a handle, but Mexican roads, you have what you have. Anyway, let's get on to basic needs. Storage. Now, most people who live in a suburban house don't necessarily need storage. You've got an attic, you've got a basement. Well, I mean, you could be a hoarder and maybe need more storage space. We have to have it in a bus because, well, we have no storage. Everything we have in here are the basics. Where do you put your keepsakes? Where do you put the things that you just can't part with? And honestly, I don't have anything in storage. So yeah, we have to rent a unit, and it's about 80 bucks a month. Now, insurance. We have insurance just like you. Health insurance, you can't really control. Health insurance is health insurance. As far as vehicle insurance, yeah, we had a car. We had to pay insurance. We pay insurance on the bus. Now, the big difference, the big ending is the difference between Mexico and the United States. So we have extra insurance. Down here in Mexico, we have to have Mexican insurance because U.S. insurance won't cover it. So yeah, I'm paying for insurance that I'm not going to be using up in the States. It's confusing and annoying, but yeah, we all got to pay insurance. Let's see what else. I mean, YouTube, I have significant YouTube expenses that you don't have. You'd be surprised how much all of this actually costs. I'm going to leave that out because apples and oranges and you don't have an orange. But now we start getting into the meat of it, into the real differences. I don't know if you can see way up on top of this bus. Those are solar panels. That is 1,200 watts of free energy. Yep, utilities are a little bit different. My electricity cost, zero. I mean, we've got other panels out there. We've got a giant bank of batteries. As long as the sun is shining, I ain't paying for electricity. Paid a lot in Miami, and I'm assuming that you pay a lot as well. Other utilities, we have water and sewage. It doesn't cost us anything in the States. While we're filling up with diesel, I just basically hook a hose and a filter up to the little tap next to the, I know it sounds gross, but it's potable water. Water we don't pay for a cent. We do have to pay here. We have to get potable water from a purified source. That only runs about 12 bucks every time we fill up. We do it about once a month. Sewage is nothing. We dump wherever we can dump. And what other? Oh, internet. A little bit different. We use Starlink. That is our Starlink antenna, which is right now tucked well behind the bus, which is the reason you can't hear me and I'm kind of hiding. It is windy as hell here in Baja, Mexico. Anyway, we're talking money. I think we paid around 80 bucks a month for our Comcast internet. We pay $150 a month for Starlink RV. The thing works everywhere. I'm so much happier paying double prices because it's faster too. May not like Elon Musk on a few things, but for that one, you did good. Now, we do have some expenses that you do not have. Bus maintenance and repairs, for one thing. Bus mechanics aren't cheap. We have to use truck mechanics. We can't just go down to the guy who fixes your Honda or your Toyota, and they charge fleet prices. So it is not cheap when things break or when you got to have things just rolling along. But then again, we don't have the expenses of a house. We don't need a plumber. We don't need an HVAC guy to come in because it's summer and our air conditioner broke. So I guess we just call this one a wash. Okay, the big reason I actually wanted to make this video, and one, I thought you might find it interesting to see what the lifestyle actually entails and costs. And I kind of wanted to find out for myself because, like I say, I have not been very good at managing, tracking any of this. But I saw something from Vox. It was a video the other day that was talking about Americans and retirement and how basically we're all screwed. They were suggesting that you need 10 times your annual salary in order to live anything close to what you're used to living. Now, in my case, I used to make $140,000 a year as a software engineer, which means we'll multiply that by 10, and I did not have that in savings. There was no way I was going to live the way you're supposed to be able to live. Hence the bus. Hence, we tried to find alternative ways of living, finding affordable ways of living. Did we succeed? I'm a little surprised at that answer, and I think you might be too. But I'm not going to bore you with the Vox report. I'm not going to get into the whole what's right and what's wrong with the American capital system. I'll save that for later. Okay, but before we get into the meat and potatoes of this fine video and our two biggest expenses, I want to show you where we are because it plays a role into all of this. The reason we live in a bus, the reason we are down here in Baja, well, it's the whole reason that we actually have this budget. So let me show you around. And yeah, between the windbreaker and all the wind noise you're about to hear, it's a little bit breezy down here. We are on the East Coast over near the Sea of Cortez, although this is just a protected bay called, what's it called? Playa La Gringa, which I think loosely translates to, I'm going to get this wrong and Nikki's going to make fun of me, the beach of the white woman? Now, it's not like being a Karen. It's more of the beach of the stranger, the beach of the people who aren't from here. I have no idea why it's named that way, but it's beautiful. Okay, I'm going to try to turn this thing around. Hopefully, if it's, here, hang on a second. Hopefully, whoa. Sorry, I didn't mean to throw you on your face. I'm hoping that as facing my chest, you get a lot less wind noise. Then again, it may just sound like Charlie Brown's teacher. Now, when you come down here to Baja, everyone thinks that it's desert and scrub and cactus. And it is, but it's also a giant peninsula and it has a huge amount of coastline. And you can't get to all of it because most of it's unimproved. Places you can get to, like here, the beaches are gorgeous. Now, here's the thing. A lot of these beaches, you will have the locals come in every day and they'll sell you fish, they'll sell you food, they'll sell you whatever you need. This beach here is very remote. We have a lady that comes by once a day. She'll bring you water if you need it. She'll bring you other things if you ask her nicely, and she'll take your trash away for you. So you do have that. It's not completely off-grid camping, but it's really close. I'm already out of breath and tired. It's 8:30 in the morning. I have not finished my cup of coffee, so I'm just going to throw the drone up in the air, hit you with a nice little video montage with some peppy music that does not involve wind blowing on the microphone, and we'll call that good enough. Okay, I think I've made you wait long enough. Our two biggest expenses are fuel and rent. Yes, we actually have to pay rent, and the two of them, I have to put them together because they actually balance each other off. Now, we have to put this bus somewhere every single night. In the States, there are places you can park for free. There's not very many, and most of them are on the West Coast. You can go to BLM land, certain state-managed lands, but generally speaking, if you have to put it into an RV park, we're spending on an average of about $40, $50, sometimes more a night. Now, the number that you're seeing popping up is basically a combination of free and paid parking. Now, we have to do that every single night. It's not really an option. It's just kind of, you find out where the best place to go. Diesel, however, is the biggest expense. Now, yeah, I know you have a car. You go to the gas pumps as well. Have you seen the difference in prices? I mean, for starters, diesel is a hell of a lot higher than gas prices. I get 8 miles to the gallon in this beast. So when we drive, and we typically, by the way, I know we may go anywhere between 3 and 4, sometimes a little more hours per day. It costs us between $100 and $150 a day in diesel to drive the bus. Now, when we are cruising around and going here for a day and there for a day, it adds up. So we've been spending more and more time in a place for multiple days. So maybe we drive once a week. So we go from here to another place and then we stop using diesel, but it's kind of variable. Some places you can stay for longer. Some places you are trying to get to a destination and you got to drive 3 days in a row. This is the number. This is the number that we spent on average in diesel. So let us see. In Miami, our non-discretionary spending was, I lost my place here, $2,610 a month. And in the US, in this bus, it's running us around 2,301. You can see there's not a whole lot of difference. I mean, we can adjust that by driving a little bit less, finding more free places to stay. Walmarts and Cracker Barrel are your friend, but there's just so many Walmarts and Cracker Barrels you can put up with. So how can we bring that down? Well, that's Mexico. Here in Mexico, it's $1,568. I mean, significantly less than both suburban living and living in a bus in the States. Why is that? Mexico is so conducive to cheaper living. And by that I mean, we're parked here on a beach in La Gringa in Bahia de Los Angeles, which is a gorgeous place. Most of the beaches down here are gorgeous. Most of the beaches down here are free. I mean, we are paying absolutely nothing to stay here on this beach. Most of the places we stay in Mexico are free. Now, I was actually very, very shocked by all of this. Like I say, I thought my record keeping was pretty good, but I really thought we were saving money by living in a bus in the United States. How close of a difference it was just kind of floored me. I knew it was cheaper being down here in Baja, Mexico. I didn't realize how much cheaper. Now, we can adjust a lot of these things, and we are. We are, especially after this video and all of my learning, we're going to figure out how to make things a little cheaper. Don't drive as much. Find cheaper places to stay. Maybe have a little less booze. No, can't do that. But overall, if you were thinking of living this lifestyle and you weren't just watching this video out of a, what we call it in Spanish, chismoso, when you're just an unholy gossip who has to know everything about everybody, not saying that you are, but if you are thinking about this lifestyle, there are ways of making it less expensive. Now, we haven't even gone into what it actually costs to build this thing, but I can tell you it was significantly cheaper than building a house. And with that, well, I'm going to go enjoy this place. I'm going to try to spend a little less money today, and thanks for watching.